candles rising like a prophecy. 100x dreams, that's velocity. Buy so loud they ring through the monastery. Image in my ledger like it's part of ontology. Stacks on the move, call it Discworld momentum. Magic in my wallet, Terry Pratchett with the emblem. Flipping page by page, these gains write a saga. Got dragons in the charts and I'm ghosting the drama. Glide through blocks like I'm stitched to the Dharma. Cipher in the mist, spit runes in the playlist. By the dip, yeah, I buy the myth. When the market sings amidst the hieroglyph. Sowed my seed in the field of returns. Farming on chain like the ritual burns. Yields from the earth coded deep in the script. Harvest moon shining where the old gods drift. This ain't luck, it's alchemy. Turning doubt into galaxy. Every tick a masterpiece. Green with calligraphy. Woke up to the charts in a spiral dance. Candle looking greener than a druid stance. Ink in the ledger, got spells in my sleeve. Numbers chant spells like a priest on the eve. Vested in the myth like I married the tech. Though repaid in sats, I'm demanding respect. From silence I minted my legend and voice. Truth laced the tempo like fate.
No permissions, birth looked off, taking flight falling. Knows dissidence, balanced in dark and light. Steadying the agreeable index plight. Crypto tuning up, yup, keeping it right. Yup, the meme that's on the rise. Agreeable intense. One on a Pulsechain's pride. Opening those minds with all the positivity. Marching in its time. Cadence in the grind. Agree to disagree. Yup. All the time you need to meet up, hits it right. Freedom and prosperity. The destination and the flight. Lighting up dad's farm. Opposed to that, nope. Rule. Firing up them charts. Yeah, flying straight and true. Wink at the foes, cheer at the woes. Yep, stack sats gliding through the lows. The truth will set you free.
What is up, guys? How are we doing? Let me change this real quick because we are still waiting on agreements around here. How are we doing? Yeah, markets are red. We got a red light down here worshiping these red markets, giving us a chance for lower prices to buy in. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? But we got a good one for you today. I got my notepad on, since the markets seem a little disagreeable today for people wanting the prices to pump and whatnot. But anyways, let's go into a little macro, and then I'll go into a little TA, kind of place some things together. I hope you guys kind of enjoy it today. Kind of watched a Raul Pal interview today. I took some screenshots of some charts. I'm going to overlay it and kind of talk about them, kind of like forecast where we could be in the future of Bitcoin, Ethereum, things like that. I'm going to try to do my best. Kind of been thinking about it for the past, probably like 9 hours, something like that. So, yeah, let's get into it. But first, I want to let you guys know that the CPI or CPE comes out tomorrow. And that's what people are waiting on. And if it is forecasted better than expected, markets could go up. But since unemployment over here went down to 118, where's the unemployment at? Right here, unemployment claims went to 218, below expectations. Is kind of bearish, more jobs, that means more people getting jobs, man. I guess people took it wrong. But anyways, just want to lay that out before I kind of give you these everything code kind of things from Raul Powell. I'm going to try to do my best, kind of run it down real quick, and then we'll move into the charts. So what I took out of the everything code, I'm not going to like teach you everything about the everything code, but I'm going to give you the forecast of where we're at in the cycle and whatnot. And I believe we're still at where Bitcoin pump. Now ETH is going to outperform, and we're right there in that cycle, right? Which Raul Powell calls it the banana zone, whatever. But anyways, I kind of took something from that, and I saw this. The everything code dominoes, and it kind of clicked for me a little bit better. And I wanted to show this because if you notice at the right, when we're down at the 9M, that's future. Like we're out in the future 9 months from now. Gold is leading the market, right? And then global M2 is 6 months from now. That's where it's leading. So Bitcoin's kind of lagging. So 3 months from now is where Bitcoin should be when global M2 is there already, right? And this is where other influencers and stuff, people talk about this kind of stuff. So that's when like we could see where the Bitcoin's probably going to keep up with the M2 when gold's already doing that right now. M2's catching up to gold. Now Bitcoin's got to like catch up to the M2, stuff like that. Trash stocks, yield curve, whatever. Talks about that more of the stock market stuff, but we're in crypto, right? We're in Pulsechain. We're doing things like that. So anyways, and like zero time we're trading right now is like the small caps, the equities, the commodities, the altcoins, the ISM, the exchanges, S&P, things like that. And the lagging indicators is like 2 months from now. Like let's say we're 2 months lagging. So technically the numbers of the CPE that come out tomorrow kind of are like from July, apparently, from what I'm reading right here. You know what I mean? August, July, August, September. Well, I guess it would be like the end of July. So that's the way I'm reading this. So the Fed's already lowered interest rates. Therefore, they're lagging. They're reading lagging information. Therefore, they're probably like 2 to 6 months behind the yield curve, which is 3 months. And the T equals 3 months, which is 3 months ahead of us right now with the prices and everything we're seeing right now, right? So take that in mind. And then we go to the ISM and the Bitcoin dominance chart. And the ISM is in the black. And the ISM is the Bitcoin cycle. I think everybody here kind of knows what the ISM does. And if it goes above 50, we're in a bull market, kind of stuff like that. You know what I mean? So Bitcoin's kind of following the ISM on the dominance chart year over year. So I took that from Raul Powell's kind of thing, and I went, well, there's kind of a correlation there. I see that. And if you take the projections right here, gold leads by 9 months, M2 by 6 months. 6 months is about 100 days, right? And then we take Bitcoin 3 months, 3 months ahead of us. So if Bitcoin starts popping off in October, this and that from another rate cut, because I think October and December they can do 2 rate cuts. They might skip November. Who knows? It could be vice versa. It's all up for discussion, right? Anyways, we're right now at that trading spot of the prices, capitulation, everything like that. Bitcoin is going to go up in October, this and that. So altcoins could start to come in maybe mid-October, November, and we can start seeing some upside. But we have to look at the charts and data to see more of it. So if you guys don't know the everything code kind of runs you through like global liquidity, how it goes from stocks, equities, bonds, all that stuff into the crypto world, from the least risky to the most risky. You can go watch Real Vision's interview today to get more of an adjustment on this. I might be butchering it by all means, but I'm trying to sum it all up. for us here in the high risk area. We're like, why y'all crying, man? You guys got low prices. I know you guys are probably out of funds to DCA, but this is the future outlook. Because if we look at the gold chart, right? If we look at the gold chart, let's look at the Bitcoin chart with gold, actually. Where did it just go? Jesus. All right. If we look at the gold chart, let's do this. New price, new scale. There we go. All right. Gold's leading, right? Let me take the overlay off and present screen. I'm trying to get better at this stuff for you guys. So stop screen. Oh, yeah, I'm already sharing it. All right. I'm already sharing it. Anyways, so if gold's leading by 9 months and the price has already gone parabolic, that means in June, and Cairo Copeland from the other streamer, he is already suggesting this too. By next June, we could probably see the altcoins start to go. So if gold's leading the way, all-time highs every day, and it's starting to look like it's curving over right now, right here, that means gold's 9 months, or let's look at this again. It is 3 months ahead of Bitcoin, right? So by the beginning of the year or the end of the year, Bitcoin should be up right about here in December, right? So let's put a line. Let's put a parallel vertical line right here. And December, let's just do the mid to September, all right? Let's do the 20th, whatever. So Bitcoin should go parabolic up, let's call it to like 139, 150, depending on how long you want to make this. So in December, Bitcoin can go, ETH should be outperforming it by then, right? That is one theory. Or the altcoins could lag and ETH could blow up with Bitcoin at the same time. All right, this is kind of complicated. I'm trying to stay on track for you guys, but so we can see a pretty bullish fourth quarter. And if we see a bullish fourth quarter with Bitcoin and Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin, we know that the first quarter or the second quarter is going to be altcoin, microcap, mid-cap season, right? Like layer ones, meme coins, things like that. They're going to be popping off, especially if we get another rate cut in October. Who knows? But we could also see a downfall in October from stocks and stuff like that if we do get another rate cut. So we have to watch for that. But gold will continue going higher. So let's just say in theory, gold's topping out right now. That means Bitcoin's going to be topping out at the end of the year, maybe next January, right? Okay, but if gold keeps going, we know Bitcoin's going to keep going, because in this theory that Ralph Powell shows right here, that's how liquidity flows into the market, right? It goes from gold, goes to the global M2 goes, they print money, central banks, blah, 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 because we know central banks are getting gold right now, especially in other countries. That's where you're closest to the money, right? Global M2 goes up, Bitcoin follows 3 months later, and then altcoin season, commodities, everything like that. But gold's a commodity too. Why is it already going up? Well, it's a reserve kind of asset for the most part. So that's probably another reason why, right? So therefore, we can kind of project where Bitcoin could go. Let's take gold and hide it for a minute and do some TA on Bitcoin at that sense, right? So Bitcoin looks like it fell out of this parallel channel right here. It looks like it's wanting to retest the bottom of the parallel channel, but that parallel channel is probably more or less invalidated. I kind of put that there earlier today because I kind of saw that. It could be down here. It could be just off the midline, and we could come back down here to 100K, right? And the reason why I think Bitcoin could go down and have this capitulation is because it kind of looks like a head and shoulders is forming right here. You have the shoulder, and you have the head in a funky way, right? So if you take that And let's just go to this top and let's go to the neckline, and then we drag it down. Come on, grab it. There we go. And we drag it down and it broke. That means we're going to 95. That's why some of these Bitcoiners could say, yeah, worst case scenario 95. But do you think we're going there? Head and shoulders might be playing out. Are we really that bearish? What's going on? Right? So we know gold's going up. We know that Ethereum's going to start outperforming gold because of this everything code, right? This is Raoul Pal Real Vision's theory. All right. Well, they're pretty dang good. They're macro guys, whatever. They know it's coming. So, you know, they've been pretty accurate thus far in the past. I mean, they got a good accuracy rate. And if ISM goes above 50, we know the Bitcoin dominance might fall compared to Ethereum. Therefore, Ethereum will skyrocket more and harder, especially with all these treasury companies and the Ethereum reserve companies wanting to accumulate more, especially like the Ether machine wanting 10% of the supply of Ethereum. They're just waiting on S4s, right? Holy cow. I mean, like, people aren't bullish enough on Ethereum, but this Bitcoin thing is a digital gold, right? Anyways, so do you really think it could come down here in a capitulation event? Yes, it could. But if we just take that away and we do a parallel channel, I'm on the wrong one again. We do a parallel channel because I like to keep it simple over here. You know, right here. Let's take a parallel channel approach and say we are in it. We just reject it off the midline. Yeah, it still puts us around the same amount, right? So what I'm thinking is they'll go half the channel, right? For capitulation event, nice fake out, and then we don't go too much lower than this, and we hit about 98. Everybody is bearish. Like, oh my God. Like, even Richard's trying to block people. Like, you know, I can show you my ex, and I've been kind of trolling it, you know, kind of things like that, but I'm not bearish. Like, all this going on, all that, like, community infight, whatever the hell you want to call it, the bearishness on Bitcoin, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's like, wow. Everything's just like, okay, whatever. We're not that bearish. So we could, I'm kind of guessing like a $100,000 level mark, maybe a capitulation below that to like 95, 96 at most, just to scare people out. Get like all the longs have been leveraged out. There needs momentum carried back in the market, things like that. And you're still focusing on gold, and even silver's going up. You know what I mean? So Bitcoin lags that by what, guys? 3 months. 3 months. So I'll get to the comments in a little bit, guys. Just give me a minute. Trying to keep this all on track and stuff like that. So got CPE coming in tomorrow. There seems like a lot of doom and gloom on, especially my X feed. Like, it's been trying to make me believe the BS. Like, it's gonna crash, this and that, when it seems a little too suspicious to me. Yes, I'm kind of contrarian right now because there's just too much bullish numbers, especially with gold. Let's just show the line again, especially with gold doing what it's doing. And if you look at Bitcoin, gold started going up when Bitcoin started to go down right here, right? It seems like a bunch of Bitcoiners are going to gold or some shit. I don't know. That's speculation. But you know, Bitcoin's kind of doing the same thing if you correlate them, right? Like, which one's outperforming which? Bitcoin's kind of outperforming it, but it will come back down to the area. And I've been kind of like correlating Bitcoin with gold quite a bit lately because I stumbled on this like little technical analysis of mine. Like, gold's topping out, Bitcoin's meeting gold right now, right? So gold's kind of doing toppy scenario right now. It's going to come back down here. Maybe gold's in the reddish purple, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's in the red. But, you know, we could have a little cool off right before October, mid-October, after the first week of October, whatever the new numbers come in. And that could kick something off, like next Fed rate cut. I don't know. Maybe they're too dovish. They're not dovish enough. Who knows? But rate cuts don't really need to be involved right now, I think, because Bitcoin and gold are performing about the same to me. Like, gold goes 126% since 2021 or something like that, and Bitcoin's definitely got that, like, pretty close. Like 2021, Bitcoin's like, let's just January 2021, let's just be mid-curving it here on Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin's what, 225% from there? You know, gold's definitely not done that, especially if we go to the gold chart. It's done like 110% or something like that since 21. That's the last 4 years. So Bitcoin's definitely outperforming gold in that aspect because it's way more scarce. They can always come up with a new supply of gold. And the only reason why gold's really going up is because these other countries' central banks and the BIS and all of them are buying it up. So it's like a guaranteed trade. So that's leading, right? 3 months later, Bitcoin's going to keep going up because probably the Bitcoiners got into gold because they knew that was happening. Oh, the central banks are buying her. You know, all the big whales see all that stuff and they go, okay, I'm going to go into gold for a while and then come back from gold and start buying Bitcoin up because I believe in that more. That's just a speculation of mine, but my observation alone, right? So with all that said, what do you guys think? I think this is a huge head and shoulders when you chart Bitcoin against gold right here. This is on the weekly. Like, I don't like seeing this, but this has to be like a do or die moment. We need to see this go up. So if gold keeps going up and Bitcoin just stays flat or going down, this is going to go down and this head and shoulders is going to be fulfilled. All right, guys? And a lot of people do not like really show this chart too much with Bitcoin and gold, but I've been looking at the difference between, you know, things like that. Like, okay, silver and Bitcoin or silver and Litecoin, whatever you want to talk about. You like, you got to get creative to see certain things. And not enough people are doing this. But that looks like a huge, huge head and shoulders just off the bat, right? Where's my... Where'd it go? It's not pulling my stuff up. What the hell is going on? Let's refresh real quick. Anyways, Bitcoin gold. We're on the weekly. This is the daily. Let's go to the weekly. And I am on the weekly, guys. So I know I'm trying to go on through this faster and whatnot, but maybe I should slow down. But I want to try to stick to certain time frames and stuff. So if you guys are following me so far, I think I'm getting a little bit of a hypothesis because without even looking at the dominance and the ISM of the you know, this chart right here that I got from Real Vision, you know, without looking at the dominance or whatever, it looks like gold's going to go higher and Bitcoin's going a little lower right now. So are we going to hit the bottom of this parallel channel? You know, hitting the bottom of this means gold just is going higher and higher and higher because central banks, you know what I mean? And America's not buying Bitcoin or whatever they said they weren't going to. So that kind of shifted Bitcoin theory a little bit. I'm being a little too, I'm not being a little too harsh here, but like, yeah, Bitcoin needs to cool off and ETH needs to go. You know what I mean? So, like if that happens, we got until like, I mean, this needs to go to, let's be a little more conservative. Take the wicks out, all the wicks out. Let's go down here, call those all fake outs because it's just the ratio between Bitcoin and gold, right? And we're almost at a pivotal point. So maybe we got a little bit more downside on Bitcoin, just like this chart shows, and especially if gold just keeps going up. Like it doesn't want to stop. We haven't had a pullback like this on gold in like what, 4 months? Anyways, that is kind of my macro kind of sum it all down into like when altcoin season could perform, like maybe next year, because it goes along with the Benner chart too, right here. 2026 is the period of making money. The next crisis year should be 2035, and this chart has been insanely accurate in the past. And that should show you that we have some time. So if Bitcoin is doing this and cooling off, I don't know. Like what happened in the past in the Great Depressions or whatever, like October, like the last time the stock market really took a tumble in October, the Fed did something wrong. I don't know. I have to learn that. I have to relearn that past for me. You know what I mean? So anyways, with that said, the liquidity cycles from Real Vision says we haven't even gone into a major liquidity cycle to where liquidity has come back from the central banks into the market. This whole time they've been trying to flush a crap load of people out. Like that's the whole history right there. And you can just look at the chart. COVID did some damage, and yeah, they've been flushing a whole bunch of people out because they've been trying to balance the scales back. And Jerome Powell, in my opinion, has always done a decent job at doing this. So with all that said, like how small Bitcoin is and the global debt and everything like that in the future of this whole altcoin space, Bitcoin space, privacy coin space, like we got a long ways to go with the network adoption. And if Rob Powell thinks we're going to 100 trillion, where do you think Pulsechain could go? So why are people whining, crying, and complaining? By any means, why are people whining, crying, and complaining when we, by far, are this small? Like, compare the trains. I got Kronos up here, Arbitrum, Ethereum, and Pulsechain. Look how huge Ethereum is compared to these little layer ones we're whining, crying, and complaining about. We have all this time to DCA, right? So you take Ethereum out, and look, Arbitrum is at 1.642 billion because what? It's a layer 2, right? It's cheaper, faster than Ethereum, but it's not the layer that we need to be on, right? Kronos is a little bit bigger than us right now. And they have a huge exchange backing them. And what just happened with Trump, adopting the Kronos chain stuff, yeah, they're getting promotion. So they're right there. But they could be just as big as Arbitrum as long as they garner the adoption or some announcements or some big boys back them. Pulsechain's more of the retail trader chain, more community built, more grassroots, like Satoshi may envisioned. But I don't think Satoshi foresaw Ethereum coming at all, or this DeFi deck stuff. Maybe he kind of like wanted the peer-to-peer stuff, but he didn't see the reduced counterparty risk, everything like that coming in effect. You know what I mean? So like when we're whining, crying, and complaining on X, maybe I do it sometimes just to troll. I usually do it in the replies, like when I hit Hexo with a stop selling, reply. It's like I was trolling him. I let him know I was trolling him, but he actually replied for once. So I got a little engagement. But I'm doing what I can, with what I got. And yeah, with that said, like we got a ways to go. So even in January, you got like 3 months probably in this chain before it starts moving. That's without Richard doing anything, without the tablets, without any of it. All right. So if you've launched your meme coin, this and that, I maybe just stick it out and keep DCAing the cores. I don't know. Maybe just DCA all the cores, and just rotate. Now is not the time to be going back into ETH into safety at all. If you've been wrecked by any means, like all of us Pulsechainians are. So if we take Arbitrum out, we're just as big. Look at that. Pulsechain's in the blue, guys. Like, what's the problem? I could look at let's put Aptos on here. All right. Aptos is a fairly big chain. It might take a minute because I'm on stream, but yeah. I had to preload this stuff earlier, but you get my point. Let's reload it. Yeah, it's not going to come up because I'm streaming probably, but anyways, we're still early. We're still earning the fees. I mean, we're still earning more app fees than Cardano, so we got them beat. But why are they valued so much higher than we are? We have the metrics. We just need like a better block explorer maybe in the future. They're being built. It takes time to index some stuff. It takes time for tech to be built. Employment's going down a little bit. Unemployment claims, at least. That's a positive sign. So the economy is strong. I don't think we're going to be in a recession. There's a lot of recession calls, though, and because they want rates cut, they want to borrow more money, they want easier money. Rate cuts will definitely help, but we don't really need them quickly, guys. Like, if he just left it here for the rest of the year, it would probably still be better in the long term. Because it finally loaded. Look, Aptos is bigger than Pulsechain, but look, we could be just as big as Aptos as long as we had people backing us, right? People are still finding out about us. But look at the Kronos. Watch, it'll take forever to load. But Kronos, after the Trump tweet, right? I'll show you guys this. After the Trump tweet, look at what it's just doing. Kronos is in the green. It's just dying again. Every pump is getting cheated. Like, nobody believes in crypto or this technology. Or is it that liquidity cycle playing out still? A lot of whining, crying, and complaining people are selling their bags right now on Pulsechain or altcoins or Sonic, whatever chain you're on. And they're going back to Bitcoin and they're going back to ETH because these treasury companies, things like that, are shaking all you guys out. And you guys don't even see it. Like, it happened last cycle. It's going to happen again. And that's how they shake the weak hands out. Like, time. But you didn't get rich enough quicker. Yeah, the 4-year cycle could be a little couldn't be a 4-year cycle or whatever, right? All right. So 4-year cycle could be a 5-year cycle. I've even seen that Rob Powell is just starting to talk about the 5-year cycle, and I think a little bit more publicly because there's too much whiners out there, and they're not getting rich fast enough or whatever. They're not seeing the performance of the portfolios or whatever, right? So like, where was I? I just lost it. So, so whiner criers and complainers are going to ETH, this and that because of this time. It could be a 5-year cycle. If you guys don't know about a streamer from last cycle I followed, his name is Jesse Eckel. I could look up on YouTube. You guys probably know him. Probably not, but he's right here. he was talking about it. He has good analysis on some stuff. He's, you know, he's in 270K subscribers. Everybody here should know him as a bigger mainstream influencer, but we're here on Pulsechain. We're this small, tiny community, right? And we're whining and just selling our bags and stuff like that. And when this chart looks bearish as hell for Bitcoin compared to gold, because if they do the stablecoin thing, right, and they pay off the debt with the stablecoins or whatnot, and then they revalue the gold, saying instead of it worth $42, it's going to be worth $42,000. I don't know where they're going to revalue it, but all that gold in Fort Knox or whatever, if it's even there, I think there's probably more in there than there was. There could be less in there than there was. I think that whole thing is a freaking psyop. They're trying to keep it secret from other countries because they do not want it public. Because what if we have more than other countries, and the other countries are trying to keep up now, and they're propping the price up? Who could sell that gold to somebody else when the Treasury had that gold at $42? They could sell it at a higher price or trade it or whatever because it could be used in other things. That is pure speculation. I'm not saying the U.S. would do that because gold's a reserve metal, right? Just like silver. So this head and shoulders I don't see playing out, but in the next week, just keep your eye on the ratio between gold and Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin's capitulating because gold's going higher, this ratio right here could fake you the hell out. But it does have that head and shoulders look, and that target very might, well, let's just take all the wicks out and go down to the neckline, because that just looks ugly, right? So it's the length of the parallel channel, really. And if it broke out, it would go down to there, right? It would go right back down to where that big Bitcoin, 15 grand, 20 grand, right around in there. On this chart, it would look like 20 grand, but that's between gold and Bitcoin, not USD. This chart could move sideways. USD could be like around 100 grand. Could be just down here right around, just traveling sideways until the beginning of next year, and then start going up. Because the third rate cut finally gets the banks in the black or whatever, because some of them have been operating at losses, some of them haven't. It just depends on when they want to start the cycle, and the U.S. needs to refinance debt just like other countries, things like that. You all have to keep this in mind while you're looking at this dang chart. And then you listen to some influencer that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about and trying to fearmonger you or scare you out of the market with these scary thumbnails. All I have to do is look at the thumbnail and go, yeah, I'm done. Yeah. Anyways, just keep your eye on that. You could even put SLV. Like, I know it's, let's go to the commodity action, silver. The only reason why this is really going up, oh man, wrong one. Only reason why this is going up, that's in the purple, is silver. Because, I mean, it is just on a tear, guys. Like, it is going with gold. And I don't even want to track this stuff because just going up a parabolic curve, it's got a ways to go. The target's 10 grand for gold right now. And I'm just like, if the target's 10 grand for gold and Bitcoin is 3 months behind gold, where do you think Bitcoin's going to be? And let's just say March next year, where do you think Ethereum is going to be if Bitcoin's 3 months behind gold? Just saying, guys. This global conflict stuff is becoming more trendy and more trendy. There's a lot of stuff going on, like the Charlie Kirk thing, Trump assassination. A couple other people died, but you're finding out what countries are on what side, like Russia, China, India, Pakistan, Britain. You're finding out who's on whose side. And Trump calling out NATO and then Russia calling us out saying what we're doing, paying off the debt. We are, as Americans, setting the rules because we are the reserve currency of the world. Japan's doing what they're doing. It's a whole thing, but Japan hasn't got involved too much besides financially. They're buying a lot of our debt and stuff like that. But it's hard to navigate. And then when you're in this small, minuscule asset class that's less than 500 million here on Pulsechain, it's like 250 million, something like that. And then you look at Bitcoin, and it is so much smaller than gold. And then gold is so much smaller than real estate or equities or the global M2. Like, if Bitcoin, like the whole crypto atmosphere is going to be 100 trillion one day, probably in 2035, 2040. I'm saying this is a ways out, guys. But it's a long grind, guys. Like, you could tune out for 2 or 3 months and just be fine, But if trying to find that dip to trade, to live off of it, this and that, you're going to wreck yourself. Wreck it. Especially when you're in little tiny assets like Pulsechain. Anyways, that's my speech. Let's go to the comments and show the comments some love. What is up, guys? Let me take this overlay down. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed my rant today. I know last week I did not. I did something different with a meme coin with DeFi prints and pump tires, stuff like that. But if you guys would be so kind, just go over to YouTube, hit subscribe, hit like, and just come back to X if you're on X or whatnot. It don't matter. Just help a guy out. He has a small channel. He's got good alpha out there and stuff like that. He tries to do TA. We'll go into Ethereum and Pulsechain here in a minute. All right, guys, let's show the chat some love. Believe in yourself says he bought more agreements, which is nice. That liquidity is burnt on Pulsex, so I don't think the founders are going to be selling anytime soon. I hear that off a grapevine. You're welcome, Scrubhead. Thanks for continuing the stream. Yeah, it is tough times. Do not lose the plot, guys. I don't care if Richard gets arrested and goes to jail, because that's the next FUD event I'm waiting for, right? Like, what else could go wrong? Can't go wrong. The thing, like, anything can happen. Murphy's Law or whatever the hell, got to keep the faith. Can't just keep looking at the news day to day. That's why I've kind of like just stayed away. Pulse Jitsu, Fast Abdul's here for the tech. That was a great space today. I sat in the space for a while, kind of commented with my token and stuff like that. Marketing's marketing. Even if, I could have stayed up during like in between an hour, but I was on my lunch. I didn't want to, so I didn't. I didn't know what I was say on my lunch anyways. Besides, I love Pulsechain and it is highly undervalued, stuff like that. They can come to my stream anyways. And I think this is the most people that have been watching on my channel as of now, which is cool. It's about time. And yeah, Triple Alliance says, love your TA stuff. I hope it makes sense. I try to come up with new ways, stuff like that. I know I've done the Bitcoin treasuries, the S-Bets, the Ether machine, stuff like that in the past. I'll continue to do it, but I'm trying to involve gold and silver now because I have a coworker that I've been trying to turn into a crypto bug. I mean, I gave him some crypto, and it's on one of his older phones. He's got to send it to his new phone to gain access to it again because his daughter like ruined his seed phrase or something like that. So he's kind of stuck. It might be lost crypto. But anyways, like I got him more into like gold and silver and stuff like that because it's more tangible and stuff like that. So at least I know I could onboard people into the market. And, there's some positivity there. So we shall see. You know what I mean? That's why you're here. All right. Is the TA? You want that Pulsechain TA, huh? I bet you do. Have you guys been like TAing it up with the like Bitcoin to Pulse ratio lately? I haven't looked at it. Maybe we should look at that after Ethereum. You know what I mean? I keep it simple, just like Pulse Ray does. He's doing a good job with that dark matter, Yeah. Keeps getting more scarce. Expect the unexpected. Yes, you always have to, but sometimes you have to go with the flow in the market too. Just like what this says, what this says, what this says, like you just have to go with the flow. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. Like you can't always be contrarian or conspiracy minded. It might just be the way it looks all the time. I know X might fight against that 90% of the time, but it's there to just confuse you. You want to know how many people I've muted lately, just like Richard's gone on a blocking spree. Like, good. Good. Like, especially with the so-called hex believers and OGs that are whining, crying, and complaining. At least RG's out there doing these tablet things. At least Crypto Coffee's doing what he can. I wish I could go down there and help, but I can't. So I'm doing my part. I don't care if you got 100 followers, whatever, on any platform. Do your part, retweet, reshare, do these raids, get the marketing momentum going, and then the unexpected will happen. What is up, NJ Dub? Time for the Pulsechain squad to unite. Just need some green candles, and we're taking over. I don't think I really... Yeah, green candles would be nice. I mean, for my feelings, for my, my gut, my, my ulcers that Pulsechain has cost me. But people need to unite regardless of prices. Yeah. That's just the way it is. I mean, I like my little streams and, me doing my stream, like what I'm doing here, but me going in spaces and off the cuff stuff, like ask questions, this and that, still get stage fright to this day. It's weird. I go on other people's streams, like post Bitcoin's Fat Sammy stream. Meeting new people is always scary. The market's always scary. You never know what's going to do, but you can always do your best, right? So, yeah, I think unity is here. The less the noise. I kind of like the capitulation the past 2 days. I've just been laughing so hard, and I'm like, I hope they leave. I really do. Yes, and this is true, especially with the marketing that's happening. Like, my numbers are way, way up. I'm usually 12 people watching me, 12 to 30, somewhere right around there. You know what I mean? Hinted, most of them are on X, which, like, I go to YouTube at X, and I'm thinking about shooting Rumble in there and starting that platform. I don't know. I'm trying to do my thing. I could upload my previous videos to Rumble and try to get some people on there, because I know people are like siloed in these social media, alleyways and such. But yeah, it will come. I don't expect Richard to come back anytime soon. I would like Richard to come back when he said, like daddy pat you on the back kind of scenario, because the community finally did come together and unite and make this thing come to fruition, because we need adoption. And you just saw the charts with like how small of a chain we are and how much upside we have. Like, where's like the crypto.com arenas for Pulsechain, in real life. It might come, it might not come, but it's probably not going to come from the SAC address anytime soon. But it could. No expectations, right? No expectations, right? Anyways, that's the comments. That's the comments. Please again, like, retweet, reshare, things like that. I try to stream every week. Sometimes I might miss it, but yeah. I think Bitcoin, to lay it all out, I'll even leave the gold and silver charts on here for you guys. Bitcoin, if gold and silver keeps going higher until the end of the year, that parallel channel is going to come to fruition. That Head and Shoulders will leave, and we are going to 140. Like, we are, dude. There are just no ways, if ands, or buts about it. Like, you know, so I mean, if you put a parabolic curve on gold and silver right now, like, it's probably a quarter of the way there. It's not like straight up, but like next rate cut, it's probably going to go up a little higher. And even if you wanted exposure to it, just to buy Paxos on ETH, just to make some money, if you lose money, it's kind of like diversification. Like, let's put 10% of my portfolio over here, or 5%, or 2%, whatever. All I know is just write it out, guys. Go touch some grass if you're feeling it. You feel like gutting yourself or whatever. I know I do, but we're still here, like, doing the best we can, right? Anyways, let's go to ETH. It's looking way more bullish over here. Why did my lines? I had this all laid out for you guys, and God, I gotta be deleting my stuff these days. I don't know what the hell happened. Anyways, I had a line. Jesus. It's probably because I left it there so long. I got too many of these open. Leave. Let's leave this one. All right. That's the ETH one. And it's back to normal. I had all this deleted because I haven't been on this one in a while. Anyways, I'm going to continue with my little drawings right there when I streamed this chart. I was way wrong on that, right? I went the other way. Anyways, let's delete this one and draw my line. Let's go to the weekly. That'll probably be. That is so weird. I had all that deleted like ways back. All right. We don't need the bottoms of the charts. We're fine. Let's go to this top and go through here. And what do you guys notice? What do you guys notice? Kind of a perfect retest of that that trend line on Ethereum. Like, looks pretty juicy to me. So that, my friends, should tell you something. ETH's probably going to way outperform. And if ETH way outperforms, oh man, I can never remember this website. Yeah, this one right here. If ETH outperforms, we're going to start seeing these percentages come up. And I'm waiting on the next X announcement from FG Nexus, man. Like, it doesn't even show they don't have any ETH. No, they got 50K still. All right. So, yeah, they want 10% of the ETH supply. Where do you think the price is going to go, guys? So, let's just do this. For shits and giggles. Parallel channel, right? We always wanted to go the other way, but like, guys, that is a huge parallel channel, right? Here's some confluence, I think, in this stuff, right? kind of looks good. A little head and shoulders played out. Hit the bottom of the parallel channel. Had a nice fake out. Came back up here. Now we're testing the top. Ready for more, right? So if we take the length of the parallel channel, should I even show this number? I don't want to show it, but that's a double. I think it's going way higher than this, but that's conservative, guys. Like, if you did fibs on this from top to bottom, that puts us at the 1618, which is a good level to hold. But that might take some time, right? So if we take the parallel channel and then put it to that, it's kind of like a bull flag too, you know what I mean? It's still the length of the parallel channel, but it kind of gives us a time indicator. Let's just, we're speculating here with this line. But where would that put it? March 26th, maybe? If we continued the same trajectory, right? That's all I'm saying. If we continue the same up and to the right on ETH, and we respect this line, and say that's the retest, this is on the weekly, like next February, that's next year, guys. When would Pulsechain start to launch? With this in mind, when would Pulsechain go? If Richard's going to start doing something on a double, I mean, that's well over $1 billion in the SAC address. Right? Because if we go there, it's well over $1 billion. I mean, he's got 166,445. It's a lot of ETH, guys. Not saying he's going to use it, anything. It should stay there so it can get bridged in and used for liquidity somewhere else, so people can actually move some like $10 million like stuff in one day. Like, don't you want like a $10 million whale to come into the chain? Yeah, with no slippage kind of stuff. Who knows? Oh, that's why I think it needs to stay there. And maybe Pulsex will be a DAO, and that's how the treasury will get worked. Who freaking knows, guys? So much speculation. We don't know. But we can have these hopes, right? I mean, that's what Pulsechain's here for, right? For us Hexicans, Pulsicans, even Coinians. I don't know. So, ETH looks pretty good. Let's go to the daily. Let's see a short term. Hopefully I'm giving you guys a little bit of value into how you can swing trade. I've been fairly accurate-ish. Like, I called a little downside last week, and it kind of happened. I said, hold the 3.7 on Pulsechain, or the 3.8, and it was holding right below it, and I knew it was retesting that line, and yeah, I'm still here. I haven't really done anything besides like poke around. That's about it. But that's a perfect retest. And it looks like it's bouncing. It's not a hard bounce off that, but I'd like to see an engulfing daily candle there, or at least eat half of it and go to this resistance right here. Like, at least do something like that, guys. Like, come on. So it could build a head and shoulders there too. Like, if it builds a shoulder here and we just start to do steam because rate cuts, this and that, the liquidity cycle's not there yet. Can't stress this enough. I think I have one more chart I didn't show, but I forget what was on it. It's time scale stuff, but maybe next stream I'll show it and give you guys a little teaser. Do a little bit more research so I can present it a little bit better for you guys on that chart. But Ethereum kind of looks like you already got a little mid-cycle head and shoulders there, but what do I know? Like, you got a shoulder right here, got a shoulder right here. Oh wait, that already played out. If that's the neck, right? I think it already played out. Almost. It's a sloppy head and shoulders, but you know, it still worked. That's a failed. That failed because it just went Fed rate cut. I don't know, guys. Like, that was last week, right? Then all the FUD came, then all the negativity, all the whining, crying, and complaining. Usually a Fed pivot like that ends up with the market crashing for a while. And it usually takes a week for it to take effect. So if you're trading that stuff on the day, like, all fair, well, and game to you, like, you should be playing these numbers. I mean, like, for real, guys. Let's go to Deck Screener. We're done with ETH. Should I, like, I don't even bother, like, showing Sui or Solana, like Raul Pal is in, because I think he should come over to Pulsechain. Because at least his transactions won't get censored too much. Yeah, there could be some scammy hexkins or whatever the hell they want to call on there, but or they call them bots, or they think Richard Hart's a scammer. I don't know, but you know, I think we're at a local bottom. I don't know. I'm not calling any hexkin scammer. I'm just saying what they probably think. So yeah, we're almost at the target for ETH on that head and shoulders right there. It could have been like a ascending triangle. They were trying to build it, but yeah, Fed just sounded too dovish, and yeah, it just went limp. Just went limp. So yeah, let's exit out of that, and let's go to some Pulsechain, guys. Wrapped Pulse. I didn't even show you guys the RSIs or nothing on my TA. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? I'm just kidding. You guys could figure that out. Go look at the RSIs. I know you guys like my TA, but ouch. My drawings from last week kind of hurt a little bit. So that didn't work out. Let's just delete that. It hit that midline and it just went. So that's our ultimate goal for the parallel channel, if that was the parallel channel, which it could play out. I think we'll start clipping out or whatever. I think it'll probably go half that, really, because I wouldn't want it to go much lower than that. And if it played half that, I mean, I think we're pretty much hit the target, right? If that line's even accurate. Yeah, it's accurate enough. But let's get a little bit more bullish and come down to here and shorten this up a little bit. And then drop it back down. We would make a lower, not a lower low, but that's like my big bear scenario. You know what I mean? Like, they come in and just start clawing you up because you got some sweet chips on your ice chest or your picnic table, like Yogi the Bear. And he just comes in and starts swiping your stuff, man. Like, just leaves it all out in the open, and the raccoons come in, take the rest, like when you're camping, you know. Anyways, pretty much we hit the midline of the next parallel channel, and of course we did, because there's some confluence over here. There's some support right around in here, which is good. People are protecting the price. What I would have liked to see, though, on this capitulation candle, well, we kind of did see it on the 4 hour, like this long wick. We almost made a shooting star, guys, almost. But you notice how those candles are starting to fill it again? And we're really trying to protect that 403 zone. And we're at 4031 right now. Like, we're really trying to protect. There's people coming in and protecting this price, but it's probably going to go back down and fulfill that unless we start to gain momentum or people start to come in and protect the price. And Richard blocking people kind of probably caused a little bit of that because, you know, OGs just doing OG things, I guess. I don't know most of the drama. I just hear little bits and pieces. So take whatever that is with a grain of salt out of me right now. But, you know, I kind of keep my ear to the ground. We'll see. RSI, let's look at it. Way oversold, guys. So, whoa. That is, we are at 16. Whoa. It's like, oh man, that is, whoa. All right. Where were we? That right there. We weren't even at 16. What? We had to have been up there at that line. No, 24. No, we are not at 16. We're at 26. Just need to zoom in a little bit. All right. We're at 26, guys. 26 and a half. I want to zoom in a little bit more. 26.3. So that line. All right. What was that line? We're right off the bottom again. So we do have the oversoldness on the PDI bottom, I call the exploiter bottom. That exploiter bottom, yeah, we're there. We're time to pivot. Let's look at the momentum, see where we're at. It's the only two I'm going to use right now. We kind of lost a lot of momentum. We're not above the zero by any means. And yeah, you could use the MACD, blah, blah, blah. But I like momentum because I want to know if the chart's going to keep going up. Right? But you lost momentum right there. And that's how you know it's just going to reject. But you kind of got to use it on the 4 hour more accurately if you use that. But yeah, kind of want to see that kind of like look like this above the zero quite a bit, or like this, but above the zero, like keep momentum like right in here. Like those are good lines. Like that one could even be more flattened out, and that would be good momentum. Like, yeah, you could have the dips below zero or the bounces off of it, but yeah. Tool for the trades. But the head and shoulders kind of, even if you took the parallel channel out, I know I'm probably spending way too much time here on Pulsechain, but that head and shoulders, well, it's kind of not a head and shoulders, but yeah, kind of played out. Because if you take this line right here, you know, broke out, you're halfway there still. So we'll see. We definitely need to gain momentum back. Probably the best thing to do right here is to see more of the capitulation candles and more of these wicks down being filled, staying flat, smashed, whatever. And we could be creating a bottom. I don't know. I would wait a little bit for confirmation before starting to do another DCA. Yeah, you could capture some of this, but always DCA with caution. But more people want higher highs, and this, if it confirms right here to be a bottom, that is the third higher high, and that's all I would need for a major confirmation. So it could pull in another little V and then do a little wannabe Adam and Eve. Who knows, guys? Up for discussion. Let's go to Pulsechain. I think, how's the ratio on this one? Oh, for anything. Almost forgot. I think it's this one. Yeah. Almost forgot to show you this price or this ratio. Let's see what it looks like. Well, guys, it did not come down to the line I wanted it to down here, so it looks like it's going to make another higher high. Bitcoin is gaining strength because Pulsechain is going down. I thought this was going to be a head and shoulders. Did not play out. I tried to have a little shoulder right there, but yeah. Each their own, man. Usually 4 billion. Hopefully that was it, guys. Just looking at this shows wiki candle, and if Bitcoin keeps going down, this candle will turn red. So I know I don't want Bitcoin going down, but it kind of seems like it will be. So yeah, that's where the Bitcoin pulse ratio is. A lot of people don't show that in our ecosystem at all because Bitcoin has been eating Pulsechain's lunch by far by 1,500% almost. So, and if we were to go back down 85 from the top or 95, I mean, like, it's a ways down there to go. I was really hoping we'd come down here, just stay there for a little bit, but it just seems to want to go up. Hopefully it topped right here and we're making a lower low, which is good. But last time it made a lower low, it just went up even harder. So we'll see. Back to Pulsex. Let's look at the ratio real quick. Hey, it keeps dropping. Still hasn't hit that target yet, but people are protecting it. Descending triangle. Kind of playing out. It was on the top of that line. Now it's retesting the bottom of that line. If you want to play with that, go right the head of hell. Look at that. Well, retesting the bottom of that line, and it's probably going to go back down here. If you call that parallel channel, whatever. It's descending triangle. Anyways, USD chart though. Let's look at it. It's kind of made a higher high. Third higher high. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'd like it to build a rising wedge and break out of the top because it's way less more likely, but we'll see if we build a W here. Maybe we'll see. That was a like you can put a big kind of a shoulder right here, you can put a shoulder right there and call that the head, and it kind of met that target. But that's a stretch. That is a stretch. Yeah, ink. Let's see how well it held up during all this because I haven't looked at ink in a long time. It's still in its wedge, which is good. It's still midlining. Kind of looks like it's retesting off the middle of that wedge. So yeah. Somebody's coming in here and protecting this sucker. So yeah, hopefully that's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Jeez, like that's going to break out and come up and probably hit the top of that parallel channel again if it breaks up. But if it breaks down, which is highly unlikely, but I think there's like a 25% chance it could break down or something like that. I forget the ratio. I haven't studied that stuff in a long time. Anyways, yeah, there's that. Ink's kind of doing its wedgie thing, man. It's still on track in the wedge. Ink, Hex. Let's look at Hex. Hex looks even better. Kind of, sort of. But it did do a lower low on the daily. Now I can see the wedge even more from kind of see it right there. Classify those as kind of fake outs. It's more confluence with these other candles right up in here, right here. You know, you get the point. Fake outs are fake outs, whatever. You know, so yeah, we need to get back up to the upper line with that. Definitely doing the wedgie thing. Huh? It's like just pulling the underwear. Just keep pulling it. Try to get it all the way in the crack. I don't know. It's kind of how it should feel if the price is dipping like that. Just got to crack some jokes from time to time, guys. Just got to crack some jokes. But, I just noticed that. It is finally touching this top right here. Maybe that's what they were waiting for. Get some confluence there. Let's look at Solid X. Solid X has been having some shakeouts lately, guys. Just hit my target and went twice full. Like, it hit 530 today. If you guys caught that today, you guys are going to be happy in a few weeks. I always knew that it needed to fulfill this wick right in here. I'll take auto off, put log on. It needed to fulfill this right in here. And it filled it. All of it on the ratio. Like, yeah. It's right there. It could probably come back down a little bit. Depends on how much more fuddy fud. I'm not even going to get into that with that one. But yeah. Pulsechain, Pulsechain going down today. Did not help with that. I hear some like PDI wells getting out. Some other wells getting out. Some other Solid X big guys getting out. Hopefully just go. Get gone. I got one question. Is B Roots can stay or go? Because I can't make the difference lately with him. I know I'm blocked by him because he probably thinks I'm some Tang Gang guy, but anyways, I really don't care if I'm blocked. But like, I kind of saw him complaining a little bit, but playing out the scenario, I don't know if it's complaining or not. I never could read that guy very well. Anyways, yeah, that's Solid X capitulation. There's not really a pattern on that right now. It just, yeah, that's gonna fill. That has to, unless it's on the 4 hour. Did it have an engulfing candle? Did it? Nope. It failed right at resistance. How many weak hands are in this? Now I gotta look at X game. Is it holding up? Yeah, it's holding up kind of nice. Maybe they're selling a lot of their Solid X to get into this thing. When I hope they get wrecked on this. I really do. They won't though, because X game's coming out. Blah blah blah. Unity guys, I kind of broke even on it. I'm not really doing TA on these coins anymore because Solid X, thicker liquidity. I could do some on mine, but it's more or less shot in the pan with the TA. Kind of got a wedge going on there, but it's still higher high from here. Made a lower low right here though, so I don't know, guys. Solid X really pulled that down along with the rest of the market today. So I think I had a tweet way back when that the bottom, the very bottom, it was like a troll, like kind of like take SAC price minus 369 or something like that, and it goes to like 1.7 or something like that. So like the very bottom we hit once. I mean the very, very bottom like where all wells are like break even or in pain. Like if we go below that, like all the wells are underwater. I think I would have to go look at the tweet again, but yeah, don't quote me on that. Just go scroll my Twitter or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty much all I had for today. 90 views, 84 on X, 6 on YouTube. Let's scroll through the comments real quick. Wow, expected, unexpected. Pulse DeFi chain, yes. I know I chased down a raccoon that swiped my stainless coffee mug. He dropped it after I asked him if he was going to drink it. Coffee does matter, man. Conversations with raccoons. Max says hi. All right. Hi, Max. Thank you, Moonbutt. I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you're coming back. I hope I put things in perspective for a lot of people. He sent Pulseland flying, though. That enabled me to... Hey, B-Roots did shill Pulseland, huh? You know what? I had a couple million of that, and I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm not into this metaverse kind of whatever. I should have kept it just to do that. And, you know, because I like farming and stuff like that, but I got most of my Pulse right now, like Validator X. I got a little bit in Vouch. I'm just keeping it. I'm trying a Validator X strategy with the YEP token. It's probably not going to create enough volume or anything like that because whatever. But, you know, at least I'm holding my Pulse. Hopefully causing a little bit of buy pressure with the yield I get off of it. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. You know, hopefully I don't have to do it manually all the time. But, you know. I had it in a homie farm. I saw it as the green candle happened. Nice. Dude, I saw that 10x in like one candle. I'm just like, the power of B-Roots. But then I go back and look at this chart, right? I go back and look at this chart. Let me show this on the stage. And I go, I wonder where B-Roots accumulated. Probably got some down in here. Probably got some down here. I don't know. He takes his sweet time before he does that stuff. But yeah, that's a pretty mooner, man. Like 10x, like almost to the T in one candle. So yeah. And now it's holding, like, I like B-Roots' TA and stuff like that. His meme, laws of meme coin and stuff like that. I've watched it all, things like that, and I like his TA. I like his philosophy behind how to make pretty chart look pretty, you know. So we'll see. These guys haven't launched yet, though, have they? Like, no, they're still building. Coming soon, yeah. So yeah, still has room to grow. I get that. Maybe I should buy $1 million. How much is $1 million right now? A couple $100? I might. I don't know. I got some Pulse, but like I don't want to pull from my Pulse. But I got Pulse in my V Pulse in the Emmett farm right now because Emmett is the shit. If you guys don't know, like Emmett, you know. I think that was in the beginning video. Emmett Farm is, yeah, they got a cool, let me remove this and go there and disconnect real quick. It's my public address anyways, but I shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. Emmett is pretty cool. Pretty cool. They got this farm that earns EDI, and they got most of the market cap locked up in it. and it's still earning like 99% APR. And it's pretty sweet. So you earn the EMIT and the farms, and then you just stake it in here and you get voting power as long as you get a NFT, stuff like that. I like this platform. I've been watching it. You can take your PLP from Pulsechain and just pop it right in here, right here. And then they got this. This is the one I'm in. It's low APR right now because there's so much in the USD. But yeah, code's not really, I guess it's public, but yeah, I like them. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had for today. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you liked my no permissions disagreeable hat. It's half no permissions hat, half disagreements, because I am the agreeable one. And with that said, I'm out, guys.
No permissions, birth looked up, taking flight for knows dissidence, balanced in dark and light, steadying the agreeable index plight, crypto tuning up, yup, keeping it right, yup, the meme that's on the rise, agreeable intense, one on a Pulsechain's pride, opening those minds with all the positivity, marching in its time, cadence in the grind, agree to disagree, yup, meet up hits it right, freedom and prosperity, the destination and the flight, lighting up dad's farm, opposed to that nope rule, firing up them charts, yeah, flying straight and true, wink at the foes, cheer at the woes, yep,